Medicine is continuous decision making, and AI is going to be able to do that better than any of us.
It's going to make us super doctors. I feel that we are going to have all of these components helping us provide better care and to more people in a more efficient way, allowing us potentially to have more work and life balance.
Infecting other people with your passion. So you got to be a communicator. You have to communicate clearly. You have to be really open, and you have to really listen. What's the really important part of healthcare is the human interaction. It's the healing arts, holding someone's hand and making them feel better.
Everything that's worth a damn has a stripper pole.
As it should.
That's the viral moment of today's talk.
Two vascular surgeons walk into a bar and come out with a podcast. We are talking everything vascular and not. Welcome to the Life of Flow podcast.
The following podcast is not relating to my teachings and work at Del Cedar Medical Center and is for entertainment purposes only.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Life of Flow podcast. And today we have one of my favorite episodes we've ever recorded with Dr. Billy Cohn, pioneer cardiac surgeon, pioneer in the artificial heart, and avid burner. So if you want to hear all about it, stay tuned. Vamos.
I graduated from medical school in 1986, and the Department of Surgery at Baylor was 18 people.
Wow.
It's 140 people now. And Bud Frazier always goes, "Oh, who are all these people? What do they do? What do all these people do?" It's turned into this giant juggernaut, and all the giant buildings that you see around the Texas Medical Center were grass. There were no buildings there. There were a fraction of the hospitals, a fraction of the space had been built out. In fact, there was a parking lot between the Methodist and St. Luke's. And in fact, St. Luke's is one of the only original buildings still standing, But Methodist was just the old Methodist. And then there was St. Luke's, and there was a little ground parking lot between them where Dr. DeBakey and all the big shots got to park. And I was always late for rounds, and I had to park at the brown lot, which is now Helix Park, and I'd have to book it there. I mean, there were buses and things, but I was always late for rounds. And so there was an old guy who worked the security desk there. Little toll booth at that parking garage. There's no gate or anything. He just made sure, and that parking lot, not even a garage, just an open lot. And every Christmas I gave him a big bottle of Jack Daniels, and he let me park there whenever. And I would just, if I was late I wasn't supposed to, and I'd say, "Can I?" And he'd say, "Yeah, yeah." And I would, when I was late for rounds, I'd drive in there and park there. And there were only like a dozen cars there. And my crappy 1975 Buick Riviera would be in there with the rest of the cars.
What was DeBakey driving?
Anyway. DeBakey had a Charger.
Whoa.
A Dodge Charger. Late in life, He had a Porsche, and but he had some cool cars back in the day. And he had a Maserati and stuff like that. But his favorite car was a Dodge Charger.
Well, how about Cooley? What was Cooley driving?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I never even met Dr. Cooley. I'd heard
really
all about him and stuff, but I never met him till I came back to Texas Heart Institute and started working in that group. And I got to meet him when they were courting me. And it was really funny too, because in the med center, the medical students wear short white coats, and I would have my short white coat on, and I have my backpack and my books, and I'm booking it down Bertner Avenue, trying to make it to rounds on time, and just habitually late because I oversleep because I stay out late. And anyway, and I'm there in the Cooley building.
Yeah.
And they just built the Cooley building, and they were getting ready to bury the time capsule. And I'm up on the atrium level, and press is there because of the time capsule or something. And I'm still working in Boston. I'm at the Beth Israel Deaconess, and I'm standing there. It's just Dr. Cooley and I, and he's telling me why my future's at the Texas Heart Institute, and why the Texas Heart Institute would be so great for my career, and why this, that, and the other. And I'm kind of in a daze thinking, man, Dr. Cooley's talking to me, trying to talk me. And it's just very surreal. And I'm looking down from this 5th floor thing, and I see this little medical student walk, run with his backpack and his short white coat, obviously late for something. And I'm going, God, how did I get up here? How am I talking to this guy? And it just was this one flash of really surreal kind of time travel.
Yeah.
So Billy, summarize your medical career journey. Where'd you do medical school? Where'd you do training? And how this whole thing with the med center happened?
Okay, my medical school career started when I was 8 years old. So in April 4th, 1969, Michael DeBakey had been working on the world's first artificial heart with this guy, Domingo Leota. Domingo Leota is a heart surgeon / engineer from Argentina who the Cleveland Clinic had amazing talent, and they'd hired him. And DeBakey paid the Cleveland Clinic the ultimate compliment by stealing him. You know, that's how people realize that you really admire what they do and who they have by doing that. So Domingo came down, and DeBakey gave him resources, and he started working on the world's first artificial heart. And people say, well, what about that ventriloquist guy or Charles Lindbergh? Didn't they dabbled, maybe they filed patents, but nobody made anything and did animals. Domingo Leota and DeBakey were doing the first, and it had air hoses and used a compressor, and it was it was elegant, but also not. Maybe for the 1960s, it was pretty cool. But they'd done 7 cows, and the cows would live about 12 hours. They'd usually bleed to death. They were doing them on the 4th floor of the old Baylor building, the Cora and Manning Webb department in the Jewish building. And they'd done these 7 cows. And Domingo Leota rightly thought it'd be easier to put it in patients, in humans, than it would be in cows. Cows are challenging. The chest isn't shaped right. They don't do well on bypass. And so he wanted to try a human subject. And DeBakey was a consummate scientist and very disciplined, and said, well, you say it's going to be very important to get additional data. And so he, kind of said, Domingo, you see, if we do it too early, inattention to detail is a hallmark of mediocrity. So anyway, Domingo was frustrated and talked to Denton Cooley, who is DeBakey's partner, and was rapidly emerging as the busiest heart surgeon on the planet. He was so fast and still facile, and he had overflowed Methodist Hospital and went over to St. Luke's just because he needed more beds and more ICU space and more OR. And it was part of DeBakey's program, was an adjunct to it. And in 1962, he called it the Texas Heart Institute. And that's where he did most of his cases. Well, he said, well, Domingo, why don't you bring a system over to St. Luke's and I can take a look at it, and maybe there's something we can do to accelerate progress. Sorry, I got the hiccups. And so by cover of night, Domingo Leota rolls a second system over to St. Luke's.
Oh boy.
Dr. Cooley looked at it and said, well, my friend Jerry Wada was a Japanese heart surgeon, and he designed a new heart valve. And Jerry Wada's heart valve, I'm going to use this playing card to illustrate it. In fact, I've got scissors here. I'm really going to make a heart valve here live during your podcast. So Jerry Wada's heart valve had a little polymer disc. When the flow would go this way, it'd fold in half like a taco. When the flow would try to go back this way, it opened up and stopped the flow. It was the simplest and cheapest and lowest tech heart valve ever. And Denton Cooley loved it because it was cheap and he had higher margins and could make more money. So he started sewing these into patients because back in the 1960s, the FDA was not involved in regulating devices, just drugs. So he sewed this in about 100 patients. And right about then was when Dr. Leota came over the system. He said, well, Domingo, why don't you take out those 4 valves and put these in instead? So then it became the Leota Cooley heart, so he sort of had made a modification of it. And then while Michael DeBakey was out of town in Washington, D.C., getting additional funding from the National Heart, Lung, and Blood to develop the artificial heart, Denton Cooley famously or infamously sewed the device into a gravely ill patient, Haskell Karp. And the funny aside here is that Haskell Karp was a 46-year-old guy. It infarcted the back of his heart. You guys know the Cooley endoaneurysmorphy? God, these hiccups. The Cooley endoaneurysmorphy, you cut out the scar, you replace it with Dacron, try to bring the heart down to the normal size. And you can do it for small left ventricular aneurysms, small scars, but never one as big as Haskell Karp's. And he told Mr. Karp and Mrs. Karp, we're going to try to do that. We're going to try to cut off the scar and replace it with Dacron. But if your heart is too weak to come out of the operating room at the end, we'd like to try this new artificial heart we've been working on. He had never sold it. He'd never sewed it into an animal. He'd just talked Domingo into bringing one over. Anyway, and they said, okay. And then they said, and then perhaps we could do a heart transplant urgently, because they had just started doing heart transplants. It was before they had the right immunosuppression, no cyclosporin, so no patient lived more than a year, but that was the plan. So while DeBakey was out of town, he takes Haskell Karp to the operating room. He cuts away the scar, puts the Dacron, tries to come off bypass. There's no way they're making it out of the room. His heart's too weak. He sews the Leota Cooley heart in. It takes him 36 minutes of additional cross clamp to sew the heart in. He was just so facile. They come off. He goes to the ICU. Haskell Karp wakes up, gets the breathing tube out. They prop him up with a newspaper that has the date. It's a shot heard around the world. Tragically, the water valves, and maybe it was the water valves, maybe it was just the pump, but he was hemolyzing badly. And his kidneys failed because of the hemolysis. As you guys know, when you break blood, the hemoglobin is very toxic to the kidneys. And so they did an emergency transplant after 64 hours on the device, and he died tragically 32 hours later. So he was only lived 4 additional days. So it was a monumental achievement. That was the first artificial heart in a human. Tragically, it didn't work out well for Mr. Karp. But the Karp family turned around and sued Dr. Cooley, saying he didn't tell them it was experimental. And they had this, Dr. Cooley did this multi-page consent talking about the first ever, this, that, the other. But so Haskell Karp's widow and estate sued him. And at the trial, the prosecuting attorney comes up with these papers and said, Dr. Cooley, is this your deposition? And Dr. Cooley said, I suppose it is. Yes, sir. He goes, I'm going to read from the deposition here. You thought it was only appropriate that you do the world's first artificial heart since you were the world's greatest surgeon. Did you say that? And Dr. Cooley says, well, if it says that right there, I suppose I did. He said, sir, does that not represent some degree of hubris? He said, well, remember, I am under oath. True story. True story. Anyway, I'm digressing on digressions on digressions. In the newspaper, in the Houston Chronicle and the Houston Post, articles on the front page on April 5th saying that the world's first artificial heart was implanted in Houston on April 4th, 1969. My mother had gotten in the habit of cutting out articles and putting them up by my cereal bowl. Things that the astronauts were doing, things that heart surgeons were doing, just anything cool. And she does it to this day. She just turned 92. She still mails me stuff about, did you see this thing in Popular Science about the super collider? Thanks, Mom. Anyway, so I took the article. I thought it was so cool. I took it to school. And I was 8 years old. And I was in, I guess, 4th grade. Yeah. And I was sitting across the hall from a girl that I was always trying to hit on, even at 8 years old. and I was trying to show her the article. I was trying to hand it to her. And the teacher always had a little bit of bandwidth on trying to keep me focused. And she came and she took it out of my hand.
Billy,
And
and just
she opened it up.
sorry to interrupt, but you remember this vividly?
Oh,
The-
yeah.
these
Well, I've told
things-
the story so many times. So the
That's-
story's probably morphed. And if I actually watched a video of it, I'd go, God, that's not what happened at all.
Can't wait for the Hallmark movie
Yeah,
to
I
come
know.
out. See if you recognize yourself.
But anyway, she saw what it was and she goes, oh, do you want to tell the class about this? And I do a lot of public speaking now, but I had a real problem with it when I was little. I couldn't control my breath and my face would turn red. And I got up there and stammered something about an artificial heart or something. So at 8 years old, I emerged in my peer group as a subject matter expert in all things related to heart.
That's beautiful.
And
Yeah.
this,
Probably the most
Valve-
recognition you ever got, huh?
yeah, right. Exactly. It's all been downhill since then. So this valve turned out to be really dangerous, and Dr. Cooley had to bring back all those patients that were still living with this.
Oh,
and
God.
reoperate them on them
Oh.
and take it out and replace them. And that's why the FDA said we can't let this happen again. From now on, we're involved in medical device.
Oh, thank you, Dr.
Oh,
Cooley.
wow.
I appreciate that.
Jerry Water valve,
So I
and
like
his was cut out of a playing card as well. Anyway,
Billy,
so
wait, let me hold on, because I'd love to learn a little bit more about your household. Sometimes we brush over these things, but I think when you go back, you are who you are because of where you were born, because of the people around you.
yeah.
Having a mom that was that, I know it's corny, but that's awesome, dude. The fact that she would cut things that were amazing or of interest or of genuine world interest and then put them for you to read.
Right.
That's so cool. Like, can you tell me more about the household? Where did you grow up? How many brothers and sisters? What did mom or dad do? And how that household go?
Yeah. So I have an older brother and a younger sister. And my older brother's 18 months older than I am. And my little sister, my mom and dad tried really hard to have a third kid. That took them a while. So she's like 7 years younger. And my dad, self-made guy, from Elberton, Georgia, barely made it through high school, then volunteered to go to the Korean War when he was 18, and then got out and tried college and was struggling and went back into, I'm sorry. He enlisted in the Navy when he was 18, then came out and was trying to do college, but not thriving at Tulane. Korean War broke out. He volunteered and went back into the Navy for the Korean War. Then came out and realized he had to do something with his life. He started working in advertising and went to night school at NYU and got his degree. And just very creative and just like a total mensch, like the coolest, the best dad in the world. For Boy Scouts, he was the scout leader for my brother and I, and we both became Eagle Scouts. He was an Eagle Scout, and just fun loving and a wonderful dad, a wonderful mentor, never told a lie, just stand-up guy, treated everybody the same, regardless of whether they could help him or not. The main driving thing for me, though, was not him, because my dad wasn't an academician, wasn't, math and science were kryptonite for him. But my older brother, 18 months older, was in all reality a super genius, even back then. So I talked about always running late because I couldn't get out of bed. I have that still happening today. I don't know what's wrong with me. My mom would say, Billy, come on. This is the third time I've tried to wake you up. It's time to go to school. My brother would get out of bed an hour or two before we had to wake up and would go sit in the living room and read the encyclopedia. And he read from aardvark to xylophone like twice, read the whole encyclopedia. And to this date is the smartest guy I know. He got a PhD in artificial intelligence. He was a senior engineer at IBM. And if you really want to go down a rabbit hole, after this podcast is over, type John Cohn. And
How about
Really?
how about
see him,
you? How about you tell him to talk to us one of these
Yeah,
days?
tell him to come on.
yeah, so he does these kind of things all over the place.
I'd love to
Okay.
have him.
He's
too.
given science demonstrations at the Smithsonian Institute. he's got this thing where he makes these giant lightning bolts. He's a Burning Man guy. They make these big projects and go to Burning Man.
Oh, let's go.
But he's just a
Oh my God.
brilliant cat.
See, you got
And
a
so-
Burning
Yeah,
Man dude
yeah.
over here.
Let's go. Let's go, Billy. You love
Is
it.
that right?
You love it.
You ever done Burning Man, Billy? You ever done it?
Yeah, I've been twice. Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
I want to go.
That's why.
Take
Well,
me.
we made this one structure called the time cycle. Here we go.
Oh shit! That's
Okay,
This is
well,
gonna make
next
this-
year.
So now they have a thing called Fluffy, and I didn't help with Fluffy, but Fluffy is this 38-foot long bus that they put LEDs all over, and it's got a stripper pole and a poofer of flames, and
Like it
it's
should
pretty
be.
cool.
Like
It's
it
pretty
should
Yeah,
cool.
be.
like, yeah.
Everything has a stripper pole on it there, right?
Yeah.
Everything
Hey,
that's worth a
as
damn
it-
has a stripper
As it
pole.
should. As it should.
That's the viral moment of today's talk.
Right.
All right, we're doing the
Okay.
life of
Time
flow.
cycle.
Life of flow.
Burning
Burning
Man.
Man,
Okay.
camp.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
gonna happen, Billy.
Here we go.
All right.
So here's
Who would have known?
this is multimedia here. I've got it on my phone.
Oh wow.
Oh, dude, that
The
is
thing weighs
so
7,000
badass.
pounds. Was 30
How
feet
big are-
tall.
30 feet
Where do you write that thing?
in the middle.
In the middle.
Yeah.
Those are the people riding on it. So here, this is actually me driving it.
Oh fuck.
So
it.
that's me.
That is a scene from Mad Max, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very. So the driver sits right here in the back, and
Okay.
it's got a 3-cylinder turbo diesel engine out of a Bobcat. That's me in the blue shirt. The blue shirt right there. That's
Yeah.
me.
Oh, that's
Oh,
And you've got
my
two cranks that go to
God.
two
Oh
elevator
my
motors.
God.
So the Bobcat engine runs the hydraulics. Hydraulic
Uh-huh.
fluid goes to these two elevator motors that if you put on both of them, it goes forward. If you do one forward and one backwards, it turns in place. And
Yeah.
that's
Oh
about
yeah,
as
so
fast
it's
as it
like
would
kind of
go.
like a So it's kind of like
Did
a
you build that?
construction.
Did you build that with your brother?
So I did the CAD on it. There's a guy named Homer Wells who actually was the genius behind it, but I did some CAD on it and I fixed the coolant on it. My brother actually just did the LEDs and the wireless thing that you can make art on it that you can't really
Yeah.
see during the day. But Homer water jetted all the gears, and then they had to put it together on the playa. So it
Yeah.
came out on a flatbed, and they had a crane lift up the center clockwork. There's 3 ski lift chairs that rotate in opposite direction of the main thing, and so
Okay,
they're always
Can we do like a cardiovascular camp at Burning Man, Billy?
yeah, right.
Can
We
we do
could.
one?
They'd love it.
Let's do.
You see the
They'd
ski
love it.
chairs there,
They'd
the
love
ski
it.
lift chairs.
They'd love it.
There's Homer there. Homer's in the gray.
Who's the one
Who's the
dancing,
one
in,
dancing?
in the red hat? I love that dude.
That's
whoever
Homer.
that is.
That's Dwayne. And the name of the camp every year is Dwayne's World, and he's the
Oh
guy
my
that gets everybody
God.
together. And Ben and Jerry, the ice cream guys, are part
Yeah.
of this group. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Here's archetypical Homer.
Dude, I
Okay,
cannot. I cannot.
we are doing it. We are going. Okay.
That's awesome. And by the way, you just gave us 5 more guests for this.
Yeah, there you go.
I want to have
Oh,
all of these guys on
Homer
this show.
would be a trip. You definitely have to have Homer on
I
your
would
on your show.
love to have Homer on this
Yeah.
and this. Anyway, I'll gravitate back. You left us with, you described your brother, your dad.
Wait.
Describe mom.
Let's go
no,
back.
no, just describe mom. I want to finish the
Let's
family.
touch Burning Man. with one.
Yeah, we'll go
Kids,
back
no
to
fighting.
Let's
No fighting.
let's finish mom.
Why can't
I
we
want
all
to
just get
understand
along?
I am.
I
So
think-
mom,
I think mama
was
has a very important role.
Okay.
yeah, no question, super smart, but her dad died when she was 16. She wanted to do pre-med. That changed her plans. And so she just kind of met my dad in New York City. They got married, started having kids. She realized she kind of missed her professional window. So when we went to college, she went back and got her law degree and went into corporate law at 45 or something and had a successful career for the next several decades as an attorney.
Wow.
What an amazing
Amazing
what an
family.
amazing woman, man.
And my little sister also became an attorney, and she met one of my surgeon partners, John Litticoat, who was working in Pennsylvania, but he and Mark Gillenoff, a heart surgeon from Cleveland Clinic and I had started a company. And since I was in Boston and had an animal lab, they'd all come there and we were working on this technology. And I called my little sister and said, hey, man, what's going on in Boston tonight? I got these 2 heart surgeons and a bunch of engineers here, and they're not flying out till morning. And she said, well, we're going to this party, then to this bar, then to this with all her young, successful friends. And so we met, and John Liticote, the heart surgeon, in my little sister's eyes met across the smoke-filled room. Anyway, we hired him into our group to get him to Boston. Mom said, you got to get him into Boston. So they now have 3 kids. They've been married for 20 years, and John has had a meteoric career in med tech and was a brilliant heart surgeon. Anyway.
That's amazing.
That's a great, that's a
Man.
great, that's a great.
These are all great stories.
Yeah. All right. You want to go and geek out on Burning Man?
Well,
Let's get back on track.
What's your biggest take after going to Burning Man? Did you have like any profound or any insights into yourself or humans? Yeah.
Good and bad.
Yeah.
The bad is you think love and expression and peace and cool people. The people at Burning Man are a bell-shaped distribution, just like everywhere else. There's some real jerks. I saw some fist fights. Some of the coolest people in the world are at Burning Man. And the art at Burning Man takes your breath away. It's so stunning and people are so creative and there are so many amazing people there, but they're not all amazing. And there's some people that you kind of go, yeah, anyway. The thing that I really love though is people saying, look, I'm going to put my all into this and expression of my creativity. And every one of those giant projects, I mean, even our little time cycle, it takes a village, it takes a big group. And behind every group, there's one or a couple of zealots, people that are super passionate and they can share that passion and they can bring people together into a group to do these amazing things. And it's a lot like life. It's a lot like med tech innovation. You, at the center of every significant project is a small nucleus of people who are wildly passionate about it. They can communicate that passion. They can bring people together. And it's so cool to see big, cohesive groups doing amazing things just for the beauty of it. And that's what Burning Man's about.
What do you think is that magic that some people have to bring people together towards a vision? That's something I saw for sure. Like when I went for the build and I just met the people that were in charge of the camp, and amazing people, mega successful, but the nicest people, and they just had like this ability to bring everyone together towards this goal. It's like, who are these humans, and like, how do I become like them? That's what I wanted to know. Yeah.
The first step to becoming like that is deciding you're going to become like that, because it's choices. It's all choices. It's prioritizing passion and not worrying so much about personal gain or, and just being kind of looking at the bigger picture and trying to be part of that. I don't know. I think it all comes down to passion, because it takes tons of energy, takes tons of work. And if you're not passionate about it, then you're always like, anything you do in life that is difficult, that takes a lot of resources, a lot of hours, a lot of, thought, consumes tons of energy, and you have to be passionate to be able to devote that resource.
And any insights into like having people understand and see where you're going and having them want to go with you? I think that's one of the key things that is, I don't know how you learn that.
Well, it's infecting other people with your passion. So you got to be a communicator. You have to communicate clearly. You have to be really open. You can't be all one-directional communication. So when people express concerns or have ideas, you got to listen. You have to really listen. You can't go, yeah. Okay. And, like right now, I'm just talking and talking and talking. I shouldn't do that. I should listen more. So you have to be a good listener. You have to understand the dynamic. You have to be empathic and be able to see through others' eyes and understand what they like, what they don't like, and tailor your mission so that other people can get involved. If you suck all the air out of the room over and over again, there's not there's not air around you to breathe for anybody to be part of your process. You have to empower people to take shots and fail or succeed wildly, so everybody feels ownership. It's team building dynamics.
So would you envision a world where somebody like Cooley or DeBakey could be in Burning Man?
Yeah, if they wanted to. I mean, Cooley, DeBakey was too intolerant of anybody that wasn't as brilliant or as goal directed as he was. And so, although he built an amazing team at Baylor, and so he was able to mobilize resources and incentivize people and get them. I think that was the thing with DeBakey. You couldn't outwork him. He got there early in the morning. He left it late. He saw every patient. He did, his own operative drawings and stuff. He was very creative in coming up with new operative solutions. So I think he inspired people. People would follow him into battle because they saw that he was the real deal. So that's another thing. You have to be genuine. You can't tell people, I want you to do A, B, and C if you don't do A, B, and C. And so, I don't think, he kind of was a musician. He played the clarinet, but poorly. Dr. Cooley was more into that, played upright bass, but Dr. Cooley was more of a showman. So I could see Dr. Cooley doing a Burning Man kind of thing. And also, Dr. Cooley was how to put this politely, he enjoyed attractive women, and there were a ton of them at Burning Man. So I think if I had dragged Dr. Cooley to Burning Man, he would have gone every year after that. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going back to your career catapulting at 8 years old, and
Right.
and so where did medicine take you? How did you get into medical school and such?
Okay, so growing up in Houston, again, my mom would
So you
drive
were
down
already in Houston. Dad and mom, family, everybody was Houston, born
18
and
months
raised.
old. I moved to Houston
Okay.
and went to junior high school, all in Houston.
Where
Elementary
did you guys
school.
live? What neighborhood did you guys live in?
Piney Point, way out west, sort of in
Okay.
Memorial. Went
Yep.
to Memorial High School, Spring Branch Junior High. But sometimes we would be driving down Main and Fannin for something, and my mom would say, "That's where Denton Cooley works. That's where Michael DeBakey works."
Wow.
And still cutting out articles, anything, the first 4 organ transplant, the first this, the first that, the first angioplasty in Houston. I mean, all that got put on our on the breakfast table while we were getting ready to go to school. So my brother and I both grew up thinking of heart surgeons as just these mythical beings, and
Yeah.
astronauts as well. So astronauts to us, because they were all in Houston in the 60s.
Two huge things in Houston, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we thought that was so cool. And Ed White, it was the first human to walk in space, to go outside a capsule. And he tragically died in Apollo 1, where on the launch pad where they had the fire.
Yeah.
Chaffee, Ed White, and I guess was it Gus Grissom, maybe? But anyway, so my mom and dad knew this guy who did press, represented Life magazine, was a correspondent for the astronauts, and he knew my dad through advertising, and he introduced my mom and dad to Ed White, the astronaut, and my mom and dad said, "Well, we're having a barbecue at the house this Saturday. Would you and your wife like to come?" And they said, "We'd love to. Nobody invites us anywhere. Everybody's afraid of us." So Ed White and his wife come to our house in Piney Point, and I'm like 3 years old, 4 years old, and my dad and I had built a spaceship in the garage.
Oh my
Still trying to
God.
decide between astronaut and heart surgeon at that point.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was a bunch of little 1 by 1/4 inch pieces of wood stapled together with cardboard on it, and somehow a little map light that was supposed to plug into the cigarette lighter in a car, and had a little light that was coiled around something that didn't work. And I took Ed White out to the garage and showed him my spaceship.
That's so cool, man. That's so wholesome.
Do you think that exists right still, like that inspiration by science? I mean, I remember my dad worked at NASA. My dad, after college, went and is an engineer and worked in the cooling system of the space shuttle. And I remember he had a little piece of the space shuttle at home, and I would look at it.
Wow.
Yeah. And I would be like, it would be something aspirational.
I think so.
And I wonder if that exists still.
Totally.
Totally.
I mean, I have kids come through CDI all the time. I speak at elementary schools sometimes, I think people that are passionate about it, and my brother's really made a mission of that, about trying to get people in love with science. In fact, he does a thing where he goes to kids and says, how many of you want to be a scientist when you grow up? And some hands go up. And he says, how many of you want to be an engineer when you grow up? And more hands go up. And he goes, okay, guys, here's the secret. An engineer is a scientist with a job. Anyway.
Yeah. I've got a 2.5-year-old, and this little brilliant dude eats books up. Like, he
Really?
just loves it. And we go to the bookstore. I'll take him to the used bookstore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, go wild. Go pick 30 books. What do I care? I mean, it's going to be $10, right?
Yeah.
They're all used. And every time he brings at least 5 of them about space and the moon. And then he stands up in the middle, like when he wakes up and it's pitch dark, because he fucking wakes up at 5:30 in the morning sometimes. And he'll say in Spanish, Papá, vamos a ver la luna. I want to see the moon.
Yeah.
And we dash to the patio, and he just stands, and the moon is still, because it's 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And he looks at it, and he points, and he's like, that's where the astronauts are.
Wow.
And I just get goosebumps. I just got him again.
Yeah.
Because how would a 2-year-old have the perspective to understand how cool that is?
Yeah.
And then now we're at the point, of course, that's been, obviously, we feed him astronautsy, right? Like, I'm like, I put SpaceX launches and shit, and he sees the spaceships.
That
and
must
everything.
be
And now
crazy.
more than ever,
Yeah, that's true.
seeing these
So he's
shit
2.5
come from the
right now?
2.5. 2.5,
So
and he's
if
already.
you do the math, the first person who sets foot on Mars is probably 2 or 3 years old right now. If you look at the time horizon,
Yep.
we're doing soft landing, we're scoping
That's
it out,
where.
doing unmanned, and then it'll be about 20 years from now, and there'll be someone young in their 20s who's targeted their life for that. Right now, you can help your son make the choice that he's going to be the first man to walk on Mars.
Oh, I
That's
will.
pretty
His
cool.
mama will kill me, but
That's pretty
his
cool.
mama will kill me.
Because
He's like,
whoever,
don't
Yeah.
become an astronaut. They die in
every
space.
point in life where you have to make a choice, you make the one that's going to take you closer to Mars. And after 25 years, you might have to join the military or something shitty like that, but you do what you need to do
Yeah.
to put a boot print on Mars.
That's
Very-
very
what,
cool.
what do you think of like AI in medicine? Are we like out of a job? Like there's this post about this previous episode we did, and I said that there'll be no radiologist in 15 years. Do you think that? What do you think?
Yeah, I think certain things lend themselves very nicely to AI. Reading, playing films is one of them. But there's a lot of other things radiologists do. So AI will change everybody's job, but I don't think it'll eliminate them. And there's a great example. Do you know the word saboteur? You know where that comes from?
No.
I don't know
So during the Industrial Revolution, they started putting these coal furnaces that would heat up water, a big steam reservoir that would drive a big flywheel that would replace work that the workers needed to do. And the French workers, they'd say, we don't need any of you, all of you that were doing this, that, and the other. We don't need you this week or anymore because we've got this machine. So the French would say, God damn it. And they'd take off their boot and they'd throw it in the machine, and to get caught between the chain and the sprocket or something, and the machine would break, and they'd have to hire everybody back until they fix the machine. The French word for boot is sabot. Someone who throws a boot into a machine to break it intentionally is a saboteur. It turned out it took just as many people to work on the machine as it did to actually, and to make the machines, as it did to run the assembly line. So although the production of whatever they were doing there went up and the cost of the products went down, it took the same number of people as the workforce. And that's been true all through history. So there will always be roles for people, but the roles will change. And the AI that we have now it's just now getting badass. Have you used Gemini at all? Or
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
it's
we
so good.
we did some
Big
AI
fans.
pictures of Miguel and I,
We've
and
got a lot of AI shows. We've had ChatGPT interview us.
we
We've
did
done some
dubbing.
crazy shit.
We did dubbing
Oh yeah,
to
we're
Spanish.
now well. So you'll
You'll
eventually
have a Spanish voice.
you'll sound like a
Oh,
freaking
nice.
Mexican
Yeah.
telenovela. Because
Yeah.
you'll be like, oh, cuando yo y Denton Cooley estábamos allá. And
I'm gonna make my lips.
it'll
Yeah.
give you some weird
Yeah,
Spanish.
so you're gonna learn
accent.
Spanish real soon.
But
Very cool.
anyway,
Isn't
so
that
what you
amazing?
end up doing? What? Yeah, it's amazing. It's what
And so you know
it
who
changed
Ray
everything to me, for
Kurzweil
me.
is?
Everything.
No, who is he?
Ray Kurzweil is this scientist, future dude who invented the text to some of the early text to speech work. But he's a futurist. He's written a bunch of great books. The Singularity is Near, about how the world is fundamentally changing right now with the integration of hard AI and soon the implants will be part of us, and how it's hard to predict what's going to happen after that. But he talked about signposts that are along the way to this big change that he calls the singularity, borrowing the term from astrophysics that he says we're heading to. And one of them is when AI starts iterating itself. And ChatGPT 4.5 was written by ChatGPT 4. ChatGPT 4 was written by ChatGPT 3. It's happening right now. And the world is going to change more in the next 20 years than it did over the previous 200 years. It's going to be more impactful than the invention of radio or the harnessing of electricity or electromagnetism. But isn't that what it's been the whole way? Every change, I mean, it's an exponential curve, right? And you go, God, it's getting ready to change. It's always been getting ready to change. 200 years ago, 500 years ago, if you plot it on a logarithmic scale, it's a straight line. And logarithmic scales get really crazy. And we're not used to thinking along those terms. Have you heard the classic story about the king and the beggar? The king's carriage is stuck in the mud, and a beggar helps him get out. And the king says, I'll reward you. What can I give you? And he says, well, I like playing chess. Can you, I've got my chessboard here. Put a grain of rice on this first square, put 2 on the second, put 4 on the next, 8 on the next, and just double it through the chessboard. And the king says, no, you don't understand. I'm the king of this whole land. I can give you anything you want. He says, no, just do that thing with the rice. Well, that's a logarithmic function if you double it every time. And with 64 squares, it's 2 to the 64th. It's more rice than has existed in the entire history of the planet, But that's something we're not used to thinking about. Well, science and technology, Moore's law, electrical components, every 18 months or so, they get half as big, twice as fast, cost half as much, hold twice the data. That's been true forever and ever. You kind of go, well, for the short stretch of silicone. Yeah, but if you go back before that, the transistor, the fucking abacus, the cave painting, it's a straight line on a logarithmic scale. And right now we're getting to the max of what you can do because of quantum tunneling, but quantum computing is right around the corner, and that'll be the next part. Logarithmic stuff is very, very real, and we're living it right now with the integration of AI. It's going to fundamentally change the planet.
What I envision here is total disruption for sure. Significant loss of jobs, not in the sense that they're not going to have a job. There's going to be jobs that won't need humans, but then that'll create opportunity for other jobs along the lines of what you said before. The Industrial Revolution pulled people from one place and put them in somewhere else. And in medicine, what I think is it's gonna make us super doctors. Like, I feel that we're gonna have all of these components helping us provide better care and to more people in a more efficient way. allowing us potentially to have more work and life balance. That's the positive side of
Yeah.
AI in medicine that I see, rather than this existential threat to our existence, which is what you essentially, his post is going viral. The Society of Radiology of America
It's
has sent
boycotted me.
a hitman. No,
Yeah.
there's a hitman in the woods
Cease and
waiting.
desist.
But because he said essentially radiology, he's like, if any medical student asks me, I'll tell him, fuck radiology. There's
I
no
did
reason
not
to
say
become a
fuck.
radi.
I said you're crazy going into radiology.
Radiology
Just
is
pure
just going
radiology.
to change, though.
Yeah.
Pattern recognition, AI does it better than humans, no question about it. And what is reading films other than pattern recognition? But
Yeah.
there will be and pathology. Looking
Primary
at slides
care.
and saying adenocarcinoma. Really, how many adenocarcinomas have you seen? Because this AI engine has seen all of them.
Billions.
You know.
All of them. Exactly.
Yeah. I was listening. I think now that you mentioned it, I don't see the work-life balance. I see the opposite, because I was like, now something came into my mind. I was listening to this podcast about human population decline and birth rates. So like we are at less than replacement rate. I think replacement rate for births is 2.1 births per female. And I think we're at like 1.6, 1.5. So there are going to be this top heavy, 60 to 70-year-old population. And there's going to be very few young doctors to deal with them. So yes, there will be, AI will assist us, but we'll be drowning. We'll be drowning treating these patients, because it's going to be, and it's all across the world. So I do see an increase in productivity, but I don't see that work-life balance, because
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to be, just to be very clear, I don't think that's AI's fault.
No, it's not
okay?
AI's fault. I just
That you're bringing something up. You're bringing up the fact that our medical school acceptance was 20% less from last year. 20% less doctors.
yeah.
So
Think about your day, your work day, how much time you're spending documenting, doing billing, doing
Bullshit.
what's the really
Yeah.
important part of
Bullshit,
healthcare
yeah.
is the human interaction. It's the healing arts, holding someone's hand and making them feel better. There's no way AI is going to be able to do that convincingly for some time now, but it will.
Yeah.
We'll have, you see
robots,
the movie
human
I,
robots.
Robot and
Yeah.
robots assisting us. I think, yeah. I mean, if it's of any value, people go, how come we don't have jetpacks? Because they weren't of any value. They were stupid. But a human companion, I think for doing automating psychotherapy, for companionship for the elderly, for
Yeah.
all sorts of things.
Yeah.
I mean, the things that are very human required, but nobody really has the bandwidth to do it or doesn't do it well. For interviewing people for jobs, for testing competence in oral exams, AI is going to be much better at that than humans,
Mm.
and it's going to be
Yeah.
objective. It's not going to be. I don't like the way that guy's hair is cut. I'm going to flunk him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the survival of our profession, I think AI is an absolute oxygen. It's a necessity. And because where we're at right now, Billy, to your point, is these fucking EMRs, the massive inboxes, the amount of administrative pool, the the needs and the hours and the volume and the ED rooms all full. In a world where people are making money jumping up and down on an app, of course there's going to be no incentive to go into a career as hard as medicine if it's so damn boring and so damn hard to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And so if AI doesn't come and change our lives for the better significantly in the next 10 years, there will be no doctors left. That's what I think.
Or the only people that do it are the ones that are really passionate about it, and have a calling or something.
Thank you, baby. See, that's a wifey. I just got a platter of
Wow.
jamon serrano, cheese.
Life goals,
Nice.
Miguel. Life
There you go.
goals.
Hey, you get another year. We're good. All right. No, but I really think that that's going to be a very, I hope that AI is going to, I see it with open arms, I guess. I don't see the cynicism in
Well,
trying to make AI the bad guy.
I don't say it's a bad
it
guy. I
can
just
be.
say
It's neither good nor bad. It's what we use it for, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's nuclear energy.
Exactly
Yeah,
right.
but there's also bad people, I mean, some people did the atomic bomb with
Yeah.
some pretty cool science. So
Yeah, it's nuclear energy.
you can do whatever you want with it, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Good or bad, I hope we do it rightfully so.
No.
Do you think enough tech is in the medical world? I know you're exposed to this in every sense of the word, but are there enough tech companies taking AI seriously and pursuing serious AI disruption in medicine?
Yeah, absolutely. I saw one earlier today. Yeah. So yeah, everybody is looking at AI and saying, how can this disrupt the field, and how can it be a valuable thing that people will pay for? Medicine is continuous decision making, and AI is going to be able to do that better than any of us.
Well, you know what's funny here is
But what about judgment? I think there is something of like when you walk into a room, when you see a situation, you immediately have like a sense of what's going on after you've done it enough. You see whatever. I see an angiogram, I see a leg, and it's like I kind of know what's going on. I kind of know what to do, kind of instinctually, not rationally, just like I know.
Right.
And it, well, is that level of knowing something a machine can do?
Yeah. Well, so that because you're looking at the 1,000 or 10,000 cases you've seen. You see some patterns. You have pattern recognition. You're wired to recognize that. All that lends itself perfectly to AI being able to do it. And instead of the 1,000 cases it's seeing, it's the 1,000,000 cases it's seeing, and it gets 1,000,000 cases smarter every year. And so pattern recognition, again, I mean, you talked about using Gemini for some of the things. If you actually look through Gemini conversations or interviews and go, that is an insight. That is a subtle nuance that I might not have come to myself. There's a lot of that. And Gemini is going to be obsolete and boring in 3 years.
That's the scary part. Not scary, but just interesting.
Well, listen, let me do a time check right now and say, listen, we said we'll take you for 1 hour. I haven't been able to get to his damn medical school career.
Help, I'm talking and I can't shut up. Yeah.
No, dude, it means you're the ultimate guest. Make our lives easy. And I can assure you the audience is going to enjoy it a lot. But I would really like you to say, okay, to maybe in 3 or 6 months, come again and talk to us a little bit more.
This
Because
is fun.
I want to
This was
build
so much cooler than I thought it was going to be. I had no idea I was going to be showing the time cycle here or pantomiming Denton Cooley's deposition.
Yeah, we want to see more of the Burning Man photo folder.
From our show.
Here's a picture of my dad.
Dude,
no.
look at that. That's so cool, man.
And there's me and my wife. And
there's
my
you
dad.
looking all young and studly over there.
Yeah, young and studly. Here's my mom and my dad.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. See? That's
mom
the people that
and I
shape
share
you,
a birthday, and she just turned 92. And she just re-upped her driver's license for 4 years.
I love the state of Texas.
Yeah.
She lives in Minneapolis. She lives in Minnesota.
Oh, bud.
Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, love you, thank you, mentor, friend,
It was a lot of fun.
colleague. We'll keep talking and keep this bantering up because we love just talking shit and
Where
fun
can I
stuff
watch
with
some of your
people.
other shows? I mean, you guys are so good at this.
I'm going to
now
send
I'm
you a
like
couple
one
of good ones. Spotify, YouTube, Apple, iPods, all these things. You can find them.
And
But
how'd
I'll
you
send
decide
you
to
a
do
couple.
this? You just kind of said, I've got a podcast-shaped hole in my life, and I'm going to go rent a tree house and get going. 2 turntables and a microphone, where it's at.
Basically. Yeah. But we were at dinner and
it's MVP. I mean, we got all sorts of shit here that we carry and
Yeah.
we go everywhere we go. We have these like
Duffel
luggage
bag, yeah.
and duffel bags full of shit, and we connect everything. And then we have to. It takes us an hour because
Yeah.
we don't know anything about
We're
what
son
we're
and the
doing.
juniors now.
But hey, we just wanted a voice.
Learn on the
right? That was-
job.
Yeah.
So who else are you interviewing today? You said every 3 months you sit down and do 8 of them.
Yeah. So we have Shane Gleason, who is the CEO of this company with the stent and
Spire
protection.
ND.
They're going to be talking to us. We have a Dr. Connolly, who is a oncologist that left oncology and went straight into just holistic medicine. Tomorrow we're talking to Chris Lassar, who's a guy who runs a super huge private group out in Chattanooga. And we're just talking to different people about life.
We just had one of my friends, Matias, who had he built like a direct-to-consumer bike company that scaled it to $200 million, and now
Wow.
does coaching for entrepreneurs. So
we're just
Yeah.
talking to different people about
How much
shit
fun.
we find interesting.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Has anybody done a live magic trick on your podcast?
no.
Are you
You'll
going to be the first? All right.
Okay.
All right. This
All right.
you got to watch it on the screen, brother.
I know where this one's going.
Whoa! No way.
Oh my God. That's the first, ladies and gents.
Wait. Where's the one that you have in your mouth? Nothing? No? Are you going to poop it in 3 days?
He goes to the ED and he needs a colonoscopy.
The podcast interview always goes to poop. Okay, so
All right, Billy. Appreciate you,
All
man.
right, brother. God bless, and we'll be in touch, all right?
We'll have you back. See ya.